In the dead of night, the phone rang at exactly 3:17. A single, chilling ring that echoed through the empty corridors of the old Victorian-era townhouse. When the answering machine finally picked up, all that remained was the soft hiss of static, and then a voice, trembling, barely audible. They never saw it coming. There was no reason. The message cut off mid-sentence, followed by silence. No screams, no gunshots, no plea for mercy. Just that cryptic whisper. And in the dim glow of a half-lit hallway, a body was discovered the next morning. No motive, no witnesses. Only one impossible twist that would shatter everything we thought we knew. This is the case with no motive, no witnesses, and one impossible twist. The victim was 34-year-old Helena Drake, a journalist by trade, with a reputation for digging into stories many preferred buried. She lived alone on the 3rd floor of the old townhouse, on Willow Street, a building with creaking floorboards, peeling wallpaper, and a legacy of hushed rumors. Helena's small apartment was a time-worn snapshot. Unassuming furnishings, a battered wooden desk littered with notebooks and open folders, the scent of stale tea and old paper lingering in the air. Her last entry in the journal on that desk was dated 6 days before the death. An unfinished thought, half-erased lines hinting at something she'd stumbled upon. Helena was polite, quiet, rarely socialized, but respected among colleagues as thorough, tenacious, and fearless in pursuit of truth. On the night in question, a drizzly Tuesday in late October, Helena had made no appointments, no meetings scheduled. Landlords later confirmed the hallway light outside her door had flickered briefly around 1:05. 10 gone at. Neighbors reported nothing. No footsteps echoing. No voices arguing. At dawn, the building's mailman noticed Helena's front door slightly ajar. Unusual, given she was meticulous about locking up. He alerted the landlord, who called the police. Inside her apartment, officers found Helena slumped in her writing chair, head tilted slightly to the side, eyes wide open yet unseeing. Her notebook lay open before her, a pen still in hand. No sign of struggle. No weapon. No forced entry. The windows were locked from the inside. There was no sign that anyone had passed through the corridor. No fingerprints beyond her own. No footprints. Not even a dropped hairpin or a scrap of fabric. The only anomaly, a single black feather resting atop the open notebook. As though placed with purpose, investigators dusted for fingerprints. Nothing. Collected fibers. None matched known persons. They brought in a canine unit. The dogs sniffed every hallway, every stairwell, but returned with no interest. It was as if no living being had been inside that apartment since Helena locked the door. Cameras from the street outside showed only the rain-slicked pavement, the vacant windows of neighboring flats. No car parked, no one arriving. No silhouette crossing the threshold. Detectives, forensic specialists, journalists, all scrambled to find something. Anything that could explain why Helena ended up dead in a perfectly sealed room. No sign of force, no motive, no suspects. As they searched the contents of her flat, they discovered a hidden compartment beneath her desk, a small trapdoor carved just big enough to hold a flash drive. On it were files, documents, voice recordings, photos. The metadata showed she had added them that very evening. What the files contained? Names, dates, times, coordinates. A chain of encrypted conversations between high-ranking individuals in local government, talking about land deals, shunning changes decisions that would allow construction firms to evict longtime tenants, demolish old buildings, redevelop the neighborhood under the guise of urban renewal. Helena had been investigating. She'd been building a story that threatened to expose powerful people who controlled money, authority, and influence. Friends told police she had seemed anxious in the week before her death. She confided in no one, but scribbled in her journal, "Too many shadows. I don't know whose voice to trust anymore." Still, she didn't mention specific names. She'd arranged a meeting with an informant a few days before her death, but the informant never showed. There was no record of any missed calls, no messages. It was as though the person simply never existed. The press descended. The public demanded answers. Some speculated. Maybe Helena's expose was so dangerous that the perpetrators arranged a clean murder. Perhaps they sedated her, killed her with a substance that left no trace. drifted out, locked the door, and left the feather as a mocking signature. Others whispered, maybe it wasn't human. An urban legend made real. A ghost, or something more sinister. As the official investigation unfolded, the case file grew thick. Toxicology reports clean. No signs of poison, drugs, suffocation. Autopsy and conclusive cause of death. Time of death estimated between 1:10 and 2:30, matching the moment just after the hallway light died. But no rigid time, no breakdown. The feather remained mysterious. Analysis revealed it came from a rare species of raven, rarely seen in the city. Not domestic. No hair or blood bones attached. Strange. Unrelated to Helena, indicates someone placed it intentionally. But who? Detectives interrogated neighbors, building staff, past acquaintances. A former landlord remembered a new handyman recently hired to repair the stairwell light. Name given. Rabake. But no further identity. The handyman cleared the background check. Criminal record clean. References glowing. Paid in cash. Vanished shortly after Helena's death. No forwarding address. Phone disconnected. The building owner claimed she dismissed him weeks ago. Paper trail ends abruptly. Meanwhile, journalists found a discarded briefcase near the riverbank downtown, containing torn pieces of photos, financial records, maps, likely dropped by someone in a hurry. Unfortunately, the pieces were water damaged, yet some numbers and signatures remained, names matching entries from Helena's flash drive. The pieces suggested bribes, payoffs, suspicious transfers into offshore accounts, but detectives couldn't reconstruct the full picture. As public pressure rose, a special task force was formed. A mix of detectives, financial crime experts, undercover journalists. They worked long nights, following tips, leaks, anonymous phone calls. Some callers claimed they saw strange figures on surveillance. Cameras, shadows, without faces passing through the alley behind Helena's building around 1:20. But when the task force reviewed the footage, no shapes appeared. The video was grainy. Some frames flickered black. The shadows, people said, vanished. Just blank frames. Then the impossible twist. 1 week into the investigation, specialist forensic analysts tested the apartment's ambient environment. Air quality. Traces. Dust. Microparticles. They discovered a single droplet of an unknown fluid under advanced spectral analysis. It matched a compound only used in experimental chemical research. It was odorless, colorless, evaporated quickly, left no trace in tissue samples. According to toxicologists, it could induce a deep coma, then death within hours. Without leaving signs, experts believe the fluid was spray dispersed, vaporized, maybe through the ventilation or a hidden aerosol device. It explained how Helena could die without external injury or poison traces, but there was no known record of such chemical being manufactured or distributed locally. No supplier, no lab, no paper trail. That revelation rippled through the investigation. It meant her death wasn't an ordinary homicide, but a meticulously planned assassination using tools so secret the perpetrators left no trace. The clean sealed room, locked door, no signs of entry. All now made sense. The feather. A signature, a calling card, a message. We'll be invisible and will mock you. The public reaction turned from sorrow to outrage to fear. Neighbors moved out. Landlords renewed locks, installed cameras. Journalists demanded protection. Whistleblowers surfaced. 2 low-level employees of the city zoning department reported unusual orders. Delay all files, discard old records, keep it quiet. They described ghost meetings at midnight, in empty offices, no names, no minutes. Just darkness, hush. Many refused to speak on record. Mons Passé. The task force built a partial timeline. The handyman Robert K. had purchased, under an alias, equipment, ventilator tubes, aerosol sprayers, empty vials, from a laboratory supply store across town. CCTV from that store captured his face, but he wore a thick scarf, gloves, had identity, payment in cash. Receipt signed with initials. Investigators attempted to trace the alias. Nothing. No prior identity. No fingerprints. All digital records encrypted or wiped. It was a dead end. In court, prosecutors brought charges against a shell corporation linked to city officials and a construction firm. They argued that Helena's investigation threatened greedy interests, that the murder served as a warning. Yet, with no body of evidence tying any specific individual to the act, the court acquitted all named defendants. The chemical compound had no known signature or manufacturer. The aerosol device was never recovered, and the mysterious Robert K. was never located. Public trust crumbled. A petition circulated for a reopened investigation, but documents were sealed. Sealed again under pretext of national security. Media coverage dwindled. Life in the city, or at least in that old district, who went on. But the fear remained. Someone out there held invisible power. Someone capable of disappearing without a trace while leaving only a feather behind. The final entry in Helena's journal remains textually unaltered. To many shadows, I don't know whose voice to trust anymore. The flash drive, stored in police custody, was never said to be leaked, but rumors persist. Copies exist. Some claim the files are still circulating among anonymous whistleblowers, but no public release has ever vindicated her. So the question remains, who killed Helena Drake? A hired phantom, corrupt officials hidden behind shell companies, or someone else entirely? Someone far more sinister, enjoying power over life and silence over truth. In the darkness of that sealed apartment, with no sign of entry, no witnesses, no motive exposed, the only clue is a raven's feather, a silent whisper, and a missing assassin that vanished like smoke. You've heard the story. The secrets, the unanswered questions. Who do you think was behind it? The powerful developer trying to silence the truth? The corrupt official fearing exposure? Or someone far more elusive, a phantom murderer who walks in shadows? Write your theories in the comments. Don't you forget to like and subscribe to Midnight Crime Vault, and stay alert in the dark.